Okay, folks, joining right now is one of my longtime friends, one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time, Brutus, the Barber Beefcake. Brother Bruti, it's great to have you back here, Boxboro, Massachusetts, for Summer Northeast Comic-Con. We have a lot to talk about. You're looking great as ever, strong as ever. How's it going today, brother?
Hey, it's going great, man. I'm just happy to be here. I enjoy getting out and meeting the fans, and this gives me that opportunity. And it's good to see you, Big Bad Bob.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a while, man.
We go way back. And one of the things that we've always talked about with Brutus for about 10 years about getting a book made, an autobiography of his exciting life, about everything he's gone to in the last 30 to 40 years, just through everything as a superstar with WWE, with WCW, Florida, living in the van down by the river, as though they speak. I mean, you paid your dues in a way that no one else pays their dues. They have the wrestling schools now on every corner. You guys didn't have that back. You got to go in there and how was it? So let's talk about it here. Brutus the Barber Beefcake, cutting and strutting. You can get it online at brutusthebarberbeefcake.com. You can order the book right now. It's about 400 pages, pictures, everything is in here. Tell the fans right now why they need to buy this book.
Man, because this book has been Amazon rated at 5 stars.
Wow.
And wrestling books don't get 5 stars. Yeah. But Kenny Casanova, and I got to give my wife credit to Missy. I mean, like you said, 10 years. This book has been a long time in the making. Yeah. And our good friend who passed several years ago, Scott Epstein, he was a big part of helping getting me started on the book. Yeah. And God rest his soul. And then finally, Kenny Casanova came along and really spurred it, and then Missy got in there, and we got in the trenches, and we just really put our heads into it, and the book just came out fantastic. It's just, brother, it's a happy book. It's a fantastic story book that just tells it all, tells it like it is, but doesn't not at somebody's expense.
Right.
It tells
That's
the great, fun stories that everybody likes to hear, and lets you kind of use your own imagination.
And you know what? You've told me so many amazing stories just by me hanging out with you, and that's why about your time in Japan, dealing with the Japanese mafia, or geez, when you and Hulk had working out and lifting and having the power shakes, and living in Tampa and all these great stuff. So I can't wait to do tonight when I come home and after the convention's over and read the book. I mean, there's so many great stories. So we're talking about, starts off in Florida, right? You and Hulk living in the van down by the river.
Well, it goes way back. It starts in my childhood and growing up and hunting and fishing and doing stuff, and baseball in Florida in the early days. I mean, Hulk was a baseball player too. I used to go watch his team. When I was 9 years old, I watched him play. He was 12. He was the biggest kid in the league.
Right.
And he was so chubby that he could barely run the bases.
Right.
I seen him hit the fence, just smashed, crushed the ball, hit the fence, and barely make it to first base.
Yeah. He was a big guy like me, but then he lost his weight, and I'm still trying, brother. That's what's so great about the life story there. Now, I know Hulk was in a band for 10 years. Did you travel around with him? What were you doing for the 10 years? You weren't in a band, so
no, I didn't travel with him in the band, but we used to
hang out and go to the stuff and everything.
Go see, watch the band along with a lot of other people. A lot of the wrestlers, they had a great band. So all the local wrestlers in Florida, Eddie Graham's guys, Mike Graham, the Briscoes, the managers, Humperdinck.
Yeah, Oliver Humperdinck.
Oliver Humperdinck.
Yeah.
The guys, they loved to watch the band. It was a great band called Ruckus.
Yeah.
And so that's all. We all kind of came together, and Hogan and I went to the same high school, so we were running the same circles. We all went to the same beaches and all went to the same bars, and so that's how we had become friends. And we went to the same gym. And we were working out in the same gym for years before the wrestling thing ever came along.
Now, you just started the GoFundMe account to help with your knee replacement. How's your knee holding up? All the wrestling fans pitched in and helped you out, and how did that go out, bro?
I just want to, from my heart to all the fans out there, just want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. There's so much for their generosity and their kindness has been tremendous. We're still in the middle of getting bills paid, so keep it coming, whatever you can spare. It's all good. All you want to pan in, you can show that's the knee after about 3.5 weeks, and I'm still definitely in the middle of a long rehab, and getting those bills paid, the hospital and the doctors. So it's all out of pocket, no insurance these days.
You know, and we talked about. It's funny because Hulk said, you know what? I wish my finishing maneuver was the sleeper hold because of what he had about 8 back surgeries with that leg drop that he did. And you wrestled for a long time. I know you retired about 2 or 3 years ago. You're telling me, but you know what? Geez, you really had a nice, safe style that allowed you to bring the guy in, get him in the sleeper, knock him out, cut his hair. Let's go home, brother. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I retired after 40 years.
Wow.
In the wrestling business, which is pretty much unheard of, and never had any surgeries related to those injuries.
Exactly.
But after the 40-something years of weightlifting and the 40 years of wrestling, eventually the knees wore out. The knee wore out. Yeah. So I had to get it done. It was part of it. But Hogan, 12 back surgeries, both hips replaced, both knees replaced. He's
sounds like the Bionic Man right there.
Yes, yeah. It takes him a half hour to get out of bed in the morning, and I'm just thanking God
that you don't have to go through that.
I'm into my first big surgery.
Yeah. What do you think about the wrestling business today? It was so different than when you started. Now there's so many wrestling promotions. There's wrestling schools. There's social media on the internet now where people can write something. Look at Roseanne. She wrote something stupid and just cost her the whole job. Well, all of her castmates get a job, but her, I mean, she just talked herself out of the job. I mean, thank God you didn't have social media in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
You guys would all be saying something about Vince. Would all be in trouble, right?
Wouldn't have been near as much fun. That's for sure. Right. Somebody looking over, uncle with the man looking over your shoulder all the time. So.
Yeah. That's great. What was some of your favorite memories in WWE that you can look back at that we want to ask you about?
Well, working with Bobby Heenan, Kurt Hennig, Gorilla Monsoon, all those guys, tremendous individuals and super nice guys, and we miss them all.
And WCW, I was just watching the Booty Man this week and everything. You have any great memories for your running WCW guys you're working with there?
Well, everybody was pretty cool. I remember one guy in particular who just hates my guts. His name's Eric Bischoff, and I'm sure you know who he is.
Yeah, I actually heard that video this week. Yeah.
And he goes around the country dogging me and saying bad things. Yeah. And he's the guy who never put on a pair of wrestling boots. Yeah. In my opinion, doesn't know jack about wrestling, and pretty much was running the WCW, and when it went out of business, when the greatest run the WCW and Ted Turner had ever seen, and was rolling like a juggernaut, somehow him and his greedy friends were able to sink the whole company and put everybody out of business.
I totally agree with you. I just talked to Kevin Sullivan about that. They put the world title on David Arquette. They put the world title on Vince Russo, and I think actually Eric won the belt. But there's so much that happened during that period. But that's how you sink the company. You put the belts in some marks that have never been in the ring, and then you
overpay everybody
with Ted Turner's money. Well, brother, I want to thank you so much for your time. It's always an honor. Folks, remember, it's at BrutusTheBeefcake.com right here. The name of the book is called Brutus the Barber, Beefcake, Cutting and Strutting. It's 400 pages and more. You got to read it. You got to get it today. You got to talk about this amazing life, everything that Brutus has done, traveling around the world, not just the United States, around the world, fighting some of the greatest superstars in history and becoming one of the greatest superstars in history, Brutus the Barber Beefcake.